Welcome! In this video I'm going to be taking a look at this Himimi 80-foot retractable air hose reel. So this was provided to me by the distributor, but they're not compensating me for this video and they're not reviewing it before I post it. If you find this video helpful and you want to purchase one of these, I'll put a link to it in the description on Amazon, and if you use that link it helps me out a little bit and doesn't cost you anything extra. So let's get this open. Now I was cutting very shallow opening this box, and if I'd cut deep I might have cut through the manual. Actually I did a little bit, so be careful there. Of course that's not the end of the world. And here we have a mounting template, so I'm going to get this out on the ground and I'll lift it onto my bench. This is a wall mount reel. It does come with a handle on it, which is really nice. I mean, you'll probably almost never use it, but like when you're mounting it, it's nice to have something to lift it by. Let's take a quick look at the manual. So this talks about usage. It says hold on to the air hose while it's rewinding. And here's some specs. So the hose fitting is 1/4 inch NPT. Hose diameter is 3/8 inch. The length is 80 foot. And then the lead-in hose that connects to your compressor is 6.5 inches. Working max pressure is 300 PSI. And the hose material is hybrid hose. Temp range is -40 to 150 degrees Fahrenheit. So this talks about installation. So you want to mount it near your air compressor. It says fix the bracket by 5 hex lag bolts and wall plugs accordingly. So it says connect the leader hose to the air source, then turn on the source. It says pull out the hose to desired length. When you hear a click sound, then the hose will be locked in place. There's a red label at the end. It says stop pulling when you see the red mark. When the job is finished, turn off the air hose source first, give the hose a gentle tug, then the hose will automatically retract back into the hose box. This talks about cleaning. Here's a user guide and troubleshooting. So here's the lead-in hose. We have some pipe threads on there. I'm going to leave that packing material on there until I put the fitting on so it doesn't get damaged. Let's look around to the other side. So it looks pretty symmetrical. On the back side we have this hinge, and here's the wall mount. Let me get this opened. So here's the bracket. It says up on it. So this will slide in here. And this comes with lags and anchors. So if we go to the other side, we have the reel. So let me pull some of this out. This is a little tricky to do with it not mounted, but okay, so it locked. Now you can see this is moving back and forth as I pull it. So if we want to retract it, I'll pull this out and I'll slowly let this in, and you can see it's going to wind it on this reel evenly. And I will get this out in my garage to install it. I just want to demonstrate it here where I have really good light. And the little note here says to hold on to it while it's retracting. You don't want to snap back and damage it. So it does have a stopper here. So depending on where your mount is, you may want a certain amount hanging out. So you can adjust this stopper with a Phillips screwdriver, and you could have, say, like 4 feet hanging out. Now this doesn't come with any fittings. You have to put your own on. I'm going to go grab some fittings and I'll get those installed. Okay, so for fittings, I have quick connect fittings. I'll put a female on the hose reel end, and the other end we'll get a male. So this is 9/16. This is 3/4. I am going to put some Teflon tape on here, and it says to put at least 2 wraps. And this is a gas Teflon tape for like natural gas. It should work for this. This other fitting is 5/8, same here. Now when I'm wrapping the Teflon tape, I'm wrapping in a clockwise fashion looking at the fitting. Okay, so now these actually will connect to each other, although you wouldn't do that, but you can see how they work. So now this is ready to get installed in my garage, so I'll head out there. Before I do that, I do want to show the hose up close. Here you can see this. And this is very supple, but strong feeling. So it's nice and flexible. I've used air hoses that are very stiff and they're really hard to work with. This doesn't seem like it's gonna be a problem with this hose. Okay, so let's head out to the garage and get this installed. I want to show this up close on my bench. Now this is the bracket. And you can see how this slides on here, and there's a little hole here, and there's a groove here, and there's a little screw in the bag. You want to make sure you keep track of that. That's going to go in there, and that's going to lock this in place so it doesn't slide off. So I'll be inserting that after it's installed. Okay, so I have the air reel installed, and I also have the Himimi power cord reel, and if you want to see the video on that, I'll put a link below to it. So the way I decided to install this was to install a piece of plywood on the wall, and that is lagged in. And instead of using the lags here, I used cabinet screws, and I used 5 cabinet screws, 1 on each corner and 1 in the middle. These cabinet screws can hold a tremendous amount of weight, so this is very sturdy. And of course, this is lagged into a stud. Just make sure, however you mount it, that it's super sturdy. So now this can swing back and forth. I can swing it out of the way, and I can pull on this, and that will lock, and then I can pull it and let it back in. Now something to consider here, when you pull this all the way out, it's going to have that sticker on it that says stop, and by the time this is all the way at the end, you will not be able to see this. So if you're going to pull this out anywhere near the full extension, you want to pull it out and just pile it up on the floor in front of you until you get that stop, and then pull it out to where you need it. Okay, so let's get this connected up. I have the air hose here. I'll plug that into my compressor. I'll turn the compressor on and I'll let this charge up. Now it may take a few minutes. This isn't a huge compressor and we do have 80 foot of hose. Let's get it going. Okay, the compressor's done running. So I have an air inflator here. I have that connected up. So I'll pull this out now. Now I'm going to pull this out quite a ways. Okay, so I'm out towards the end of my driveway, and I actually still have some ways I could go with this. So here I could air up my tire. Here's my other vehicle, I could air it up. And here's a camper on the side of my house. Now I'm just slightly short here, but I actually have another 10 feet I could pull this out. Let's go do that. So I'm at the reel here, I'll pull this out. And there's our stop. So we've got quite a bit more hose here. I'll pull this. So I did say I have more hose, and you can see I have a lot more hose. So here I can even come around to the back of my camper on the side of my house and fill up this rear tire. Let's go ahead and do that. Although we're currently at the correct pressure, I'll just throw a little air in it anyway. So you can see it's working. So I'll disconnect this. So now I need to reel this back in. So what I like to do is I'll take the end here and I'll carry it back to the reel. And actually I was rounding some corners here, so I'm actually going to pull the hose out so it's straight in line with the reel. So here I have it extended a little more. I'm actually in the middle of the street. There's my 50-foot driveway and my 20-foot garage. So I pulled the end there. The reel is here and there's a loop out this way. So now to reel it in, I like to wear a glove just in case the hose is dirty, but I'm going to pull it out a little bit until it starts to retract, and I'm going to hold on to it and let it in slowly, and you'll see it will reel it back and forth. And since I made that loop, it shouldn't get caught on anything. There we go. So it does have that adjustable stopper on there, but I really like the height of this. I don't need to have it hanging out any more than that, but if you had it higher up on a wall, you'd probably want it lower. So that's the Himimi 80-foot retractable air hose reel. This is going to make using my air compressor so much more convenient. Not only can this reach all 4 tires of the 2 cars in my garage, this will easily reach any corner of my driveway, which is around 50 foot long. And that's at the end of the garage. And the nice thing about that is not only can I take the air hose out there to say fill up a trailer tire or the car tire, when I'm done, it just takes seconds to reel it back in. It's so nice because you can have the air hose just as long as you need it to be. You don't have to have a bunch of slack hanging out. And it's really nice because when you're done using it, you can easily put it away so you're not tripping over it and such. So that's all I'm going to cover in this video. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. If you like this video, please click like. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I'd appreciate it if you could do that. And thanks for watching. Until next time, goodbye.